Ho ho buddies, welcome to Borderline Games. I'm Gareth and today we're playing Virtue's Last Reward, episode 39 I believe. And last time we found a memory card by the second or third bomb. I can't remember what bomb it was exactly, but we found a purple memory card that we put into the monitor in the infirmary. And it gave us a... It gave us a bunch of numbers and letters to decipher or something, right? No one important too. Hello, how's it going? You alright? I've got a couple of emojis in my chat. You doing okay? Yeah, so Alice immediately says, do you know how to decipher it to Clover? And then I think we said, well, what job did you have that means that you were deciphering things? So I think we're going to get some more details about her job. So let's do it! Just what the hell kind of job is that? I think it's time you told us what you do. Dagnabbit. I love when it goes round everybody. Sorry, but I can't. Why not? Because you might be one of them. You might be the person who set the bomb. That's idiotic. Of course I'm not. Really? And where's your proof? For all I know, you're my enemy. I can't tell you anything. I'm not your enemy. I'm your ally. I'm your friend. I just want all of this to get out of here. No, I want all of us to get out of here. Just, please, tell us. Please. We need to find out who did this so we can all escape. But we have too little information. We need your help. Fine. If you won't tell us about it yourself, then tell us about the Myrmidons. Which I think we know is Dio is one, right? Turned out that Dio was a clone on one of the timelines, right? What else do you know about them? I'm sorry. Before I could blink, she'd leapt up and run out of the room. Hey! Wait! Alice! I took off after her. How long are you going to keep following me? Until you tell me what you know. Then why don't you just ask Clover? Clover? You already know she works with me. Well, yeah. Then why don't you... I wanted to hear it from you. Why? That's a good question. Remember the crew quarters? Or this garden? We got paired up for 2 separate rounds. That means I've spent more time with you than anybody else here. Maybe that's it. I guess I'm just curious about you. What are you talking about? She spun around to hide it, but I caught a blush of red on her cheeks. We walked down the path to where it ended, next to the pond. It was a long walk. I stayed silent. Alice sat down on the bench. We gazed at the smooth surface of the pond for several long minutes before she began to speak. You don't hate me. What? Why? I tried to kill you. You mean in the AB game? Yes. I was so scared. Who wouldn't be? Kidnapped, unlocked up, forced to play some sort of bizarre game. And then we found that bomb. I know I probably sounded calm, but as soon as we found that thing, all I wanted to do was run away from it as fast as I could. Things just went downhill from there. What do you mean? I remember hearing that Quark had collapsed and running to the infirmary with everyone else. When I got there, I realised I couldn't understand what anyone was saying. And everything looked... I don't know how to describe it. It was like watching a video on fast forward, only it was real. Then I started to feel like... It's hard to explain. I guess you could say I didn't feel like I was myself, and it only got worse. That was probably the Radical 6. Yes, I think so. I don't remember much after that. But when I woke up in the infirmary, suddenly all that fear was back. So all I could think about was getting out of this place as fast as I could. It never even crossed my mind that it could kill you. God help me. Even if it had, I don't think I would have cared. See? I'm horrible. You hate me, don't you? Just do it. What? Do what? Kill me. Get it over with. Drama queen. What the hell, Alice? I'm not gonna kill you. I don't even hate you. You're lying. I could have killed you. I would have killed you. Come on. Calm down. No one's killing anyone. A single tear rolled down Alice's cheek. Then another and another, leaving shining lines across her face. When I reached out, I saw her tense, just slightly. Slowly I brushed my thumb across her cheek and off, taking her tears with it. Why are you doing this? You know, you kind of remind me of my father. That's who you were after, right? The people who killed your dad? Yes. Did they have anything to do with the Myrmidons? Will you promise not to tell Clover that I cried? Huh, come on. If you keep your mouth shut, I'll tell you what you want to know. About myself and about the Myrmidons. Deal? Sure. My lips are sealed. Really? What crying? I don't remember any crying. If it was this easy, we should have done something. I don't know, bullied her and made her cry. Good. Alright then. Alice took a deep breath and began. My father is Egyptian, but my mother is French. They met while my mother was in Egypt on vacation and married shortly thereafter. When I was 3, we all moved to the US. My father was a scientist and his field was cloning. He was recruited by an American lab, which was why he moved. Both my parents had used English around me from the time I was born, so I didn't have any problems adapting to life in the United States. By my 9th birthday, we'd been there for 6 years. That was when it happened. In the middle of the day, my mother showed up at school. Her eyes were red and puffy, but she didn't say anything to me on the drive home. When we arrived, there were several policemen there to meet us. My father had always been a very punctual man, and when dinner time came and went with no sign of him, even I began to realise something terrible had happened. It wasn't until several years later that I finally learned the truth. My father's lab had been attacked by terrorists, and he'd been kidnapped. For the rest of my childhood, my mother raised me by herself. I didn't realise it then, but it must have been incredibly difficult for her as a single mother alone in a country where any relatives were a transatlantic flight away. She did her best not to let me see it, but every so often when she thought she was alone, the mask would fall away, and in every line of her face I could see exhaustion and loneliness. As much as I miss my father, it was those moments that made me wish more than anything that he'd never been taken. Fortunately, I was an excellent student and did especially well in maths. I earned a full ride scholarship straight out of high school and spent the next several years studying. After graduation, I took a job with the Department of Defense, hoping that they might have the resources to help me look for my father. I was immediately assigned to the Special Office of Internal Security. Their purpose is to investigate and sometimes deal with terrorist organisations and other serious threats to the state. I could tell my mother wasn't happy about my decision, but she chose to remain silent about it. Eventually, I learned that the terrorist organisation that had taken my father was none other than the Myrmidons. Although at the time, that name didn't mean anything to me. They were suspected of human cloning. Specifically, it was thought that they had been using cloning techniques to copy their most useful members and expand their ranks. The Myrmidons apparently believed that they could use cloning to create a new race of humans. Now, at last I knew the reason for my father's abduction. The commander of the Myrmidons is a man named Left. We know his name and his gender, but not his appearance or his age. The Myrmidons are closely associated with a cult known as Free the Soul. We believe that Free the Soul provided their funding. We're trying to pin any kind of misdeeds on the cult's leader. A man named Brother is like trying to nail Jello to a wall. Brother is supposed to be fairly advanced in years, and rumour says he's so old he can't even get out of bed. Unfortunately, his mind seems to be as sharp as ever. At that point, I hit a wall. I knew the Myrmidons had been behind my father's kidnapping, but that was all I could learn about them. Then one day, I got a tip that some of them were hiding in a building in the Nevada desert. I headed out immediately. On the way there, my car had some engine trouble and stalled out. I was trying to decide what to do when an SUV appeared out of nowhere. I'll give you one guess who was behind the steering wheel. Clover. Why didn't you let me guess? That was the first time we met. There were 4 other people in the car with her, and when I asked them what they were doing, I got what was just about the last answer I'd expected. They told me that they'd been locked up inside of the very building I'd been on my way to investigate, and that they were currently in pursuit of the people who'd kidnapped them in the first place. My priorities shifted very quickly. After a short discussion, I convinced them to allow me to come along. My hope was to find the people they were chasing, who I was certain were Myrmidons. In the end, however, we were unable to track them down. In fact, I still don't know where they might have gone. Eventually, I took Clover and her companions to SOIS headquarters. We decided that involving the police would only complicate things. After some questioning, it was determined that the people who had instigated this particular event were not connected to the Myrmidons. We did, however, discover that the mysterious disappearance and subsequent reappearance of the several children 9 years prior was connected to Free the Soul. There was also a 6th person in the SUV, although they weren't riding in it per se. A middle-aged man, who I'll just call H for now, had been bound and placed in the trunk. According to the other 4, he'd been behind the disappearance of the children 9 years earlier. We also learned that his pharmaceutical company, a major player on the world stage was effectively controlled by Free the Soul. More specifically, I suppose, H was a member of Free the Soul and very committed to their cause. So why had he kidnapped all those children? Apparently it had been part of an experiment designed to test the ability of certain people to access what's called the morphogenetic field. I don't imagine you've ever heard of it before, so I'll try and give you a quick rundown. Simply put, these people can access a sort of field that allows their consciousness to resonate with the consciousness of certain other people. To be honest, it might be simpler to just call it telepathy. The SOIS had heard of this particular ability before, but had actually used it in a number of investigations. So I wasn't surprised to learn of its existence. I was shocked, however, to learn that these experiments had been carried out by a member of Free the Soul. If that was the case, then Brother must have known about it. The thought of him discovering a way to control and harness that power was terrifying. It wasn't too long after the incident in Nevada that another tip about the Myrmidons crossed my desk. This time it claimed that the Myrmidons intended to launch a large-scale biological terrorist attack. My bosses decided that we needed more agents to deal with a threat of that magnitude, and Clover was recruited. Because she'd been a test subject in H's experiment, we knew she had the ability to access the morphogenetic field, and we wanted to put that ability to use. After several months of training, she was sent on her first mission. She would be tasked with the infiltration and investigation of a Myrmidon cloning lab. I was assigned to be her commanding officer. I hoped that our investigation might also give me a lead on my father's whereabouts. At last I had a chance to find out what had happened. I wouldn't let the chance pass me by. Perhaps that was what kept me from noticing the truth. The whole operation was a trap. The lab was fake and Clover was captured almost immediately. I got there as fast as I could, but when I arrived the building was only an empty shell. All of the conspirators, who had pretended to be researchers and the like, had already fled. I searched frantically for Clover until at last, in a basement room, I found her. She'd been tied to a chair, but on the floor next to her was another body. Was it? It was my father. Wow. He looked as if he'd just been dumped there. And when I got to him, his body was already cold. So I gave him a blanket. He was covered in dark, ugly bruises. It wasn't until later that I learned he had died from ruptured organs and internal bleeding. They had beaten him to death. As soon as Clover had been captured, a Myrmidon in a mask had come to visit her. He'd said that unless she wanted to end up like my father, she would leave them alone and tell her masters at the SOIS to do likewise. In retrospect, they must have known who I was and who my father was. That was why they'd killed him. Perhaps they'd thought they were sending a message to me. Or that once he was gone, I'd lose my reason for chasing them. They were very, very wrong. Very, very, very wrong. I took Clover with me and left. I tried to console myself with the fact that I had at least been able to save her. Sometime later I received a call from the coroner. He told me there was something I needed to see. It was a picture of a dragon that he drew. There in the morgue was my father, cold and pale on a steel table. I could barely stand to look at him. But the coroner insisted. On his arm were 2 rows of numbers, comprised of 8s and 9s. It took me a moment to recognise my father's handwriting. He had carved them into his own skin. Weird. On his chest was another message, but they were letters this time, not numbers. Not many, just enough to make a short sentence. I love you, Alice. I broke down crying right there in the morgue. They were the first tears I'd shed since the operation had started, and there was no stopping them. There would be no forgiveness. Not for the monsters who'd put my father through this. They'd destroyed my family. I would make them pay, even if I had to die to do it. That night I made a promise to myself. I would avenge my father. It didn't take long to figure out that the numbers he'd written were latitude and longitude. They pointed to a chemical factory that had been disguised as an abandoned abandoned building. Further investigation revealed that it was the mother lode we'd been looking for, the headquarters of the Myrmidons. I think my father must have known how things would turn out. Knowing he was going to die, he'd written the directions to our enemy's fortress on his own body. He'd sacrificed too much for me to waste this opportunity, with recklessness. This time, our operation would succeed. This time, I wouldn't let my excitement put Clover or any of my other agents in danger. So we took our time. We gathered information, we did our research, and we planned. Finally, we were ready. December 25th, 2028 was going to be the day we finally set foot inside the Myrmidon stronghold. But then on the 22nd, only 3 days before the operation was scheduled to begin, a man in a gas mask appeared. So cloning was definitely a thing in 2028, is what I'm getting from this. So if we are actually in the future, then the fact that there's cloning is not a clue to that, if that makes sense. Here we go. So you inhaled that gas, passed out, and woke up here in the AB room? Yes. Well, there it is. Everything that's happened with the Myrmidons and me. I left a few of the details out, of course, but you get the idea. Yeah. Thanks. She gave me a sad sort of smile and stood up. We should go back. Not yet. Your story explained a lot, but there's still one big question. How does that outfit cover your boobs? Which is... who here is a Myrmidon? One of us planted the bombs, and based off the code we found, it's pretty clear that person is a Myrmidon. Right? Yes. And I agree that we need to figure out who they are. What do you propose we do? Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. Do you have any clues? Clues? Well, if I could decrypt that code, it might tell us something, but... how can we do that? I told you. We need a key. Without that, it's pointless. What's a key? A key is a key. It allows you to sort of unlock a code. Myrmidons usually use this huge string of numbers as a key. Wait. A long string of numbers? Could that be... here it is. Could that be those 25 numbers? He was convicted of a string of numbers. Cool, I've opened a lock. What the hell? I was almost as surprised as she was. The numbers had just kind of appeared in my mind, and I was saying them before I knew what I was doing. Alice looked at me incredulously, and I stared back. Incredulously. Wait. Can you say that again? There it is. That's... that number to the third power. What? That number you just told me. You know all the numbers to the third power, do you? Prime factor decomposition on that number gets you that to the third power. You're talking about reducing an integer to a series of prime numbers that you multiply together to get it, right? Like if you have 30 and then you'd get 2 times 3 times 5, right? Oh, I see. Are we talking about that number system from the first game? Or are we not doing that? Exactly. You probably learned that in junior high, right? So you're saying that that is a prime number. And if you multiply it by itself 3 times, you'd get this. Yes. Don't tell me you just did all of that in your head. I did do all of that in my head. Simple mental arithmetic. What? No. No way. That's impossible. I told you. I'm better at math than most people. That's not better at math. Well, look at you. You just recited a huge string of numbers. That seems pretty astounding too. Where did you find that number anyway? I didn't know what to say. Or would I tell her that it just came to me? Can't tell me, huh? Fine. I'm pretty sure that's the key to the code, though. I know the Myrmidons use prime factors for their keys. And there aren't a lot of 25-digit numbers that turn out to be the third power of a prime number. I think there's a very good chance that number you memorized was specifically created by someone. Could you explain that with small words? Well, look at the prime factors of your number. 198449351 to the third power. I think that's our hint for cracking the code. You still don't get it? Try to remember the code we saw in the infirmary. What did it say on the monitor? I think the first row was... Okay. Sigma's got like a crazy photographic memory. And the second row? Yeah, that's what it was. I think. Then they just repeat. Wow, you've got a pretty impressive memory. We could really use someone like you back at the, well, keep going. How do we decode that? You use 198449351 to point you to the right letters. And how do we do that? Well, the first number is 1, so take the first letter. The next number is 9, so go 9 letters over from the first, then 8 from that one. Just keep going until you get something. Make sense? I ran over what she'd said in my head. The prime number Alice had given me was 198449351. So what would we get if we picked our letters like she'd explained? The first letter would be C from the top left. Then you'd move over 9 to the right, which would give you O. Then 8 more to the right. Eventually we'd get a word. And that word was... Decode the password using 198449351, and you'll have 6 chances to succeed. Fail and the game is over. What? The code sheet won't be displayed when you input your answer, so it'd be wise to solve it now. Okay. Okay, hang on. Really? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 0, then 8, 1, 2, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, so that's COM. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. COML. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, hang on. No, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. P. Comp. 1, 2, 3, 4. L. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh shit, I made a mistake here. Right, so, bear with me. C is 1, O, and then let's do 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. C-O-M. Now let's do 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. C-O-M-P. 1, 2, 3, 4. C-O-M-P-L. And then 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Complete. And then 3. 1, 2, 3. Complete. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. E. Complete. And then 1. Completed. Yeah? Remember, the key is 1984493551. Closing this window will take you to the input screen. So, completed. Yes! Got it. I did it. Completed. That's it. That's the answer. Completed. Are you sure? Yeah. I did exactly what you told me to do. And the word I got is completed. Well, actually, it's completed, completed, completed. The code and the letters repeat every 2 lines. It just repeats. Well, I can't remember the code like you can, but if you're certain, I believe you. I'm definitely certain. Alright then. I wonder what completed is supposed to mean, though. What? Aside from the obvious, you mean? I'm guessing here it means mission complete? So that's what the transmitter was for? Huh? What are you talking about? What transmitter? I barely even heard her. Suddenly my mind was full of memories that hadn't been there a moment before. It was like a wave had washed away the sand, revealing a bed of precious gems underneath. Whoa. Have I got all the memories? Oh, Holy Father, Holy Brother, Holy Master, my sacred mission is at last complete. With these 2 hands, mankind is saved. I am your will made flesh. In your name, I give thanks. It's Dio. Damn it. Why hadn't I realized it before? I could remember a series of numbers, but not this. At least I remembered it now. Dio was a member of the Myrmidons. And not just any member. He was their leader. That means he had to be the one who'd planted the bombs. Hey, are you listening to me? Yeah. Then answer my question. What the hell was that? What's this about a transmitter? I didn't trust myself to try and explain it to her. More than likely, she'd just think I was insane. Even I could barely make sense of the sudden influx of new information. Wait. Don't tell me you're one of the Myrmidons. If I was, do you really think I'd reveal myself like this? Point. Out of nowhere, Clover appeared. Oh, there you are. I've been looking all over for you. Really? We're all down in the Floor B warehouse. Well, all of us but Luna and Quark. Why? We've still got 45 minutes until the white doors open. I know that. Oh, okay. Hey, wait a minute. I thought UK and Quark didn't know about the white doors. Temiyoji told us about them. He said he'd show us where they were, so we all followed him down to the Floor B warehouse. I'm assuming you left Quark with Luna. Yeah. Anyway, when we showed up, Fi and Kay were already there. So? Well, all of a sudden Fi, Temioji and Dio all started yelling at each other. What? Why? Did something happen? According to Clover, the last AB game had been the cause of their fight. Even though Temioji only had one BP, Fi had chosen Betray. They started to fight, and ever since Dio had pressed Betray, Dio had pressed Betray on behalf of his team, eventually he got dragged in too. That seems odd. Fi only had one BP too. Her choice seemed like a perfectly valid defensive move. Just come with me. Kay's trying to calm them down, but there's only one of him. Okay. Come on, Alice, let's go. Coming. Warehouse B. All four of them were still there when we arrived. They seemed to have calmed down a bit, but the tension in the air was almost visible. I felt like I'd stepped into a room full of flammable gas. Even the smallest spark could turn the whole place into a raging inferno. Even Kay, usually so calm and collected, was standing ramrod straight with his hand balled into a fist at his side. Ramrod straight. I looked at Alice, pursed my lips, and then headed over to the angry knot of people occupying most of the room. I did it in a weird dancing way to make that sound. Clover, tell me what's going on. This whole thing is stupid. You need to knock it off.
Stupid? What about this is stupid? We're talking about my life, you self-righteous dick.
I know. But yelling at each other isn't going to solve your problem. The best thing for us to do right now is to trust each other and get through this. Wouldn't you agree?
Hard to trust someone who tried to kill me.
Same to you. I told you letting Dio vote was a stupid idea. What did you think he was going to do? You might as well have pressed the button yourself.
I couldn't just leave Quark alone.
That's no excuse. And where do you get off telling me I shouldn't have picked Betray? Did you even think that through? What I was supposed to pick Ally. If I'd done that, I'd be dead right now.
I could say the same thing to you. Damn good thing Dio didn't choose Ally.
Please. That's enough from both of you. Sigma's right. This isn't the time to be bickering with each other. Oh, you don't get to talk. You tried to betray Clover and escape on your own. Perhaps. But I think that's better than nearly killing someone. Well, I only did it so that she wouldn't kill Temioji. God damn it! Enough already! I roared with fury and my voice echoed and rebounded off the walls of the warehouse. Everyone fell silent. I didn't know how long that silence would last, so I decided to put it all on the table. There was only one way I was going to be able to take control of this situation. You're going to out Dio. Guys, listen to me. We really don't have time for this. I was met with a number of glares, but I soldiered on. See, the thing is, I figured out who planted the bombs. But what? Is this what you were talking about earlier? Sort of, yeah. I know which one of you it is.
Well, spit it out then.
Please, explain what's going on here. I don't think I need to. They're going to admit their guilt in just a few minutes. What? You're all going to hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Or I guess I should say, Dio's mouth. What are you on? You think I set those bombs? Yes, I do. Hey, if you're going to accuse me, you better have some pretty goddamn evidence, pal. I'm not accusing you. I'm just stating a fact. Oh yeah? And where the hell did you get that fact? Fun as it was, I knew taunting alone wouldn't be enough to make Dio confess. He'd just play dumb. He was good at it, and I'd get nothing. That meant I was going to have to trick him. Oh. Well, you see, I'm actually from Free the Soul. Free the Soul? What's that? Some kind of hippie shoe company? Don't play dumb, Dio. Or should I call you... Left? Brother ordered me to come here. To keep an eye on you. It was quick, but for just a moment I saw his eyes twitch. I leapt on that moment of weakness like a hungry dog on a steak. Fine. Skepticism is understandable, admirable even. But perhaps this will convince you. I pressed forward, pulling out every fact I could remember. I told Dio about Brother's background and how his younger brother Left had been murdered. I mentioned casually that the Myrmidons were all clones of a single person. So? Still not convinced? How about this? Do a little prime factor decomposition on that number and you'll get this number to the third power. If I'm not who I say I am, how on earth could I possibly know that? What? No, that's not possible. Finally. So, let's start over, shall we? I was sent here to watch your every move. It seems our wise and noble brother doesn't trust you. He suspects betrayal. No, you're lying. I assure you I'm not. But if you don't believe me, why don't you go outside and call him yourself with your transmitter? Ugh. No. No! You have to be lying. Brother trusts me. That's why he chose me for this mission. Why would he have made me the leader of the Myrmidons if he... Huh? Sorry, what was that? I said, why would he have made me the leader of the Myrmidons if... Huh. I grinned. Wait, what the hell? Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry, Dio. I've never even seen Brother. Then what the hell was all that? How did you know all those things? I don't know, maybe I was divinely inspired. Don't give me that shit. What's going on? What are these Myrmidons? Dio and I stared at one another while Clover and Temioji quickly explained to Phi and Kay about the memory card and the number 2 bomb and about the code we'd found that was from a terrorist organization called the Myrmidons. So you mean to say someone from the Myrmidons planted the bombs? And Dio pretty much just admitted to doing it. Yep. Bastards. I'll never forgive you. I heard a low, furious mutter from behind me, and turned to see Alice, her lips pulled back into a snarl. I'm going to kill you! Her voice rose to a scream as she charged toward Dio. He ducked out of the way smoothly and pulled something from his pocket. Whoa there. I like my women a little feisty, but you're taking it a little too far, sweetheart. Tone it down. What? You see this? You know what it is, don't you? Oh my god. Is that the detonator? Exactly. Then I assume you know what happens if I press this button. Yes, I think I do. I'm guessing it'll set off both of the bombs. Well, I wouldn't say both. You mean there's still a number 1 bomb we haven't found yet? Correct. And there's one more, too. No! There are 4 bombs! Exactly. I've planted 4 bombs. There are the ones numbered 1, 2, and 3, but there's also one more. Bomb number 0. Add all that up, and you're looking at about 4 tons of explosive power. Those go off and it's all over. That's enough oomph to turn this whole place into a smoking crater.
Aren't you forgetting something?
That'd kill you too. So, I'm ready for that. I've got spares. Spares? Is that what Sigma was talking about? Yes. Clones. I heard Alice whisper something to Clover. Let's go, Clover. Show him all that training wasn't for nothing. Huh? Oh, yeah, right. Before I had a chance to ask them what was going on, they moved. Die, you bastard! Yeah! She roared and leapt toward Dio. Clover followed just behind. Alice threw a punch to Dio's face, and as he dodged, Clover spun out from behind her. Dio grunted and turned to focus on Alice, but Clover darted in and snatched the detonator from his hand. Clover, get him! Right! Sigma, catch! Huh? Before I could respond, Clover had thrown the detonator at me. I scrambled to grab it out of the air and held it to my chest. Damn it. Stop! Let me go! I said let go of me, you asshole! Yelling didn't do him any good, and Dio found himself subdued by the skillful teamwork of Alice and Clover. Strangely though, once they'd a hold of him, he stopped struggling. I was reminded of a gazelle with its neck in the mouth of a lion. Had he surrendered? Or did he have some trick up his sleeve? It didn't feel right. I didn't have to wait long for my misgivings to prove true. The detonator in my hand suddenly began to flash. What? Ha! Serves you right. Ah! What are you laughing at? You. Her. All of you. God, you're stupid. What? Why? See that detonator you threw to Sigma? You activated it. If it gets more than a meter away from me, it sets itself off. We figured someone might try and take it away, so we put in a little safeguard. Since you two were kind enough to take it away from me, the bombs have gone from remote control to countdown timer. Go ahead and destroy the detonator if you want. Won't make any difference. Won't make any difference now. The bombs are going to go off no matter what. How long do we have? Huh. About 30 minutes. Uh-oh. 30 minutes?
Oh no.
My condolences. What can we do to stop them? I told you that already. First we need the device that allows us to input information. Then we plug it into each bomb and enter the codes. Hey. Alice. Who the hell are you? How do you know all this? None of your damn business. Just tell me where the input device is. Huh. Well, that's none of your damn business. Yeah! Fuck! Stop! You're gonna break it! Of course. That's the plan. Please, stop! Just tell me what I want to know.
Yeah!
Okay, I'll tell you. It's in my coat. The right hand pocket. Clover, check it out. Right. She nodded and started digging through his pockets. After a few minutes... It's no use. There's nothing there. Did you lie to me? No. I swear, keep looking. Oh, wait. There is something in here. Clover pulled her hand up from his pocket and held it out. Is that a pill? Like for medicine? Hey, what is this? Huh? I can't see it. Bring it over here. It's a cyanide pill. Clover frowned and moved closer to Dio, holding the pill out toward him. Suddenly he moved, his right hand snaking out to grab the pill from Clover's hand. Before anyone could react, he shoved it into his mouth. I heard a tiny crack as he bit down on it. Almost immediately he grimaced in pain. Ugh. Ugh. Shit.
What? What was that?
Poison, I'd guess. What? Damn. How could I be so stupid?
Ah!
His eyes rolled up into his head and flecks of spittle began to trickle out from the corners of his mouth. I grabbed him by his hair and shook. By his hair? What the hell are you doing? Where's the input device? Lost it. In my couch back home. Don't screw with me. Ugh. Ah. Fine. Don't tell us. How about you give us the deactivation codes instead? Deactivation? Huh. You guys are persistent. Fine. Not gonna do you much good anyway. I'll tell you. But you only get one. This is the deactivation code for Bomb 3. Ready? Cool. What about the other 3? Tell us the other 3. He didn't even seem to hear me. My body will be a part of the foundation of a bright future. His voice was weak and more foam was dribbling out of his mouth. Such a beautiful world. May brother live in everlasting glory. Those were the last words Dio spoke. He died with a strange, happy smile. Damn. He only gave us the password for one of the bombs. This is bad. What are we going to do? I don't know. How much time have we got? 25 minutes. Are you sure? Yes. When he told us the time, I checked my bracelet. It said exactly 30 minutes.
You mean the bombs are gonna go off the same time the next set of doors open?
Yes. The time on your bracelet is the time we have left. Oh. So, 25 minutes. This isn't good. I was hoping that we might be able to escape through the white doors, but... It takes 5 minutes for the primary doors to open and close. So... Yes, I know. There's no way we can get through them before the explosion happens. Well, there's no point just standing around. We should start looking. We need 3 things. The password input device. And the remaining 2 bombs, right? Right. We also need passwords for all the bombs other than number 3. Exactly. Maybe Dio has a note or something. Hold on. Let me check. She knelt down and quickly checked his pockets and sleeves, then sat back on her heels frustrated. Damn. He's clean. She looked pale. Then we'll just have to hope we find it somewhere. Temioji, can you go tell Luna what's happened?
Right. I'm on it.
Good. The rest of you, let's move out. We can do this. Let's go! And we're going to move out next time on Borderline Games. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Virtue's Last Reward. And I will see you next time. Have a good evening. Take care of yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye. Bye.